On this festive episode of the Bangkok podcast, we asked our Thai friends what they thought of Christmas. You might be surprised at how well they understand a holiday that, for all intents and purposes, has no real business being celebrated here.
So if you find yourself in Bangkok, either as a traveler, an expat, or a Thai national, over these holidays, listen in to find out how we celebrate Christmas on the Bangkok podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who arrived in Thailand in 2001 without a plan and is still doing basically the same thing.
And I am Evo Terra, an American expat living full-time in Bangkok since the beginning of 2016. Thanks for joining us here in the Big Mango. Now, before we jump into our topic, which is all about ho, 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 or as they say in Thailand, 666, we first need to give a quick thank you to all of our patrons who help support the show. If you would like to join the ranks of these fine people and get bonus content, early access to these episodes, and also some awesome swag, just head to patreon.com/Bangkok podcast.
Well, before we jump into the Christmas stuff on this show, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the Department of Land Transport up in Chatuchak. Now, I know
that is the oddest thing to do a shout out for, but okay, I'll roll with it.
Well, you know how you get into a back of a taxi in Bangkok and you're always like, oh, this is going to suck. And then when the guy is actually a really good driver, you're like, damn, I got to tell some people about that, you know?
Very true.
It's the same thing because we had to get our new car registered today. And it was like the last step into all this bureaucratic rigmarole that we had to go through. So we drove up there in the afternoon, and I'm steeling myself for this. I'm like, oh, God, this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's the DLT, man, which is the DMT or the DMZ or whatever the hell it's called.
The DMV.
DMV, that's what I said. Their DLT is as bad as a DMT. Ugh,
well, sometimes I'd rather be in the DMZ than the DMV.
It's an acronym that's terrible.
But, like I said, normally I cringe at the thought of dealing with all this Thai bureaucracy. But I got to say, man, these guys have it down to a science. So we drove into this place. We called the woman and we're like, yeah, where do we go? And she goes, Building 4, Lane 1. And we're like, okay, this is going to be a disaster. So we pulled up to Building 4. Oh, there's Lane 1. We drive in. And what they had was basically like a bowling alley. And instead of throwing balls down each lane, you drove cars down each lane, and each lane was for a specific thing. Here's where you register your car. Here's where you get your insurance done. Here's blah, 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 blah. And so what they would do is they would basically fill up the lane with cars. So I don't know, like 8 cars bumper to bumper would come into this thing.
But all getting the exact same thing, all getting the exact same service.
Yeah. So all the cars in lane 1 in my lane were getting their like final registration done or whatever it was. And all the cars in lane 2 were getting their, assessment or something, whatever it was. So yeah, as soon as we pulled up, these guys just jumped into action. And it was like in the 1950s when you went to a gas station, all of a sudden you had 15 people running around your car. But just awesome. They like lifted up the hood, got a flashlight, check this, check that, open your front door, looked under the thing, check that. Okay, everything matches out, you're done. And we were out in less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
It was just awesome. So like I said, I was just expecting the worst, but when you come out and you're like, damn, that ain't so bad. You just want to say, thank you. I appreciate the work and the organization that went into this process.
That's fantastic news, because when you said Building 4, that's where I spent all of my time getting the 3 different days I was there trying to get my driver's license. Same building.
Right, because we did a show about how ridiculous it was, and I've spent an entire day in that building too, but that's why I was like, ugh.
Wow.
So, have faith.
Eventually, that the Thai love of paperwork and process will net out on balance to be a positive every once in a while, and you found
That's right. That's Congrats. Right. So keep your fingers crossed. It might not be as bad as you think. It probably will, but it might not. It's a Christmas miracle. And speaking of which, how do you like that segue? Pretty good, huh? It is getting close to Christmas. It is December. So we figured that we might as well get started getting into the spirit of things with a Christmas-themed show. Now, for those of you who are Westerners, you understand just how important Christmas is in your home countries, at least in the countries that I'm familiar with. In most places, Canada especially, it's like the big daddy of holidays. It's the one the entire year has been building up to, the one that everyone is looking forward to. And in fact, Christmas is so big that they even celebrate it in countries where, to be honest, it has no real business being celebrated.
Oh, you mean this one? That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, exactly. This sweltering hot Buddhist country goes gaga for Christmas.
Yeah, that is very true. So, just a few days ago, a buddy of mine reached out to me and said that he has a friend who happens to be traveling to Bangkok over Christmas, and he comes from a country where Christmas is celebrated in every home, much like the ones that we come from, and wanted to know from my perspective what it is that Bangkok is like in Christmas and where are some of the places that his friend might go when he is here on Christmas. So my immediate reply back was, I have never experienced Christmas in Thailand. Yes, I realize I've lived here for 2 years, but I've been gone. And I'm going to be gone again for this Christmas. I'll be in Estonia. So I had no idea. So I turned to the one person who has lived here for 16 years. Clearly, this person, his name is Greg Jorgensen, by the way, has some insight into what someone might do to have an authentic Christmas experience in Thailand, in Bangkok. And you said,
quote, "After Fino," unquote. I've been here for 16 years. I've spent about 12 of those Christmases in Thailand. And the last time I was back in Canada for Christmas, the day that I left for Thailand was minus 32 degrees Celsius. Oh. I was like, nope, not doing this again. I've spent most of my time in Thailand here for Christmas. And I got to say, I'm drawing a blank because most of the time it's just a regular work day. You go to work, everyone else goes to work. You might see a bit more Christmas decorations. You might hear a few more carols. You might have a couple of gifts given out to some of particularly observant people at work. But besides that, there's nothing really special about Christmas in Bangkok except the decorations at the malls.
And there's a big white Christmas tree in the lobby of my building that has fake presents under it. Right. And I think that's just the thing that you do because it's the end of December, and that means put out the Christmas decorations because Falang live in our building. Right.
And so like there's been a couple of times where I've gone to a friend's place for Christmas dinner, or I've gone to a restaurant for a Christmas party, which is, turkey and stuffing and all that stuff. But there's nothing really special. I'm sure there are Christmas parties that certain hotels and bars and chambers of commerce and what have you put on, but it's not something that everyone is doing. You know what I mean? It's just sort of a very niche group of people that happen to be connected to this one organization or area or business or company or something like that. So yeah, it's a bit of a Scrooge answer, but I don't know what to do for Christmas. Well, in fact, I'm thinking about what I'm doing for Christmas this year. I don't know. I think I'm going to be going to a friend's place for dinner, and that's it.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
Well,
sorry to burst your Tiny Tim bubble.
No help at all. So yeah,
I don't know.
Why did we do this show again?
Continuing my trend of being no help at all to anyone. That's what I'm doing.
Gracious.
But your question did get me thinking about what this holiday that people probably like foreigners come over here and they're like, wow, Christmas in a tropical country, that's going to be interesting. And it's not really. So I decided, wouldn't it be interesting to hear what my Thai friends have to think of Christmas? Because like I said, it's a really weird holiday. It celebrates the birth of a long dead Jewish carpenter who was born from the spirit that created the universe. And, it's pretty highfalutin stuff, but it's also known as a holiday centered around shopping and Santa and spending money and commercialism. So
we love that in Thailand.
Yeah, that is a big thing in Thailand. So I thought, wouldn't it be neat to ask my Thai friends what they thought of Christmas? And I sent out a bunch of emails and Facebook messages, and I got some pretty neat responses back. No huge surprises, but some interesting things. What did you think when you were reading through some of these answers?
Some of them kind of struck me as obvious, and some were brand new. So why don't we go through some of these so that we can experience it with our audience as well?
Yeah. And first of all, before we get into this, if we laugh or giggle at any of these answers, it is not because we're making fun of Thai people or saying like, what a bunch of idiots. They don't get it.
No,
because it's not their holiday. It's not their culture. Right. And they have no expectation to understand the nuances of Christmas, just like you and I have no expectations to understand the nuance of Makabuchi Day or something like that.
Exactly right. If anything, we are making fun of Christmas. And in fact, this might be a war on Christmas that we are about to wage. Feel free to lambaste us for that.
All right. I just simply asked, what's the first word you think of when you hear Christmas? And there wasn't too many surprises here. The most popular answers were trees, parties, gifts, and Santa.
Which is exactly what, if you asked any person in a Western culture that wasn't suddenly remembering, oh, right, reason for the season and all that crap, that's what Christmas is associated with.
What would be the first word that you think of?
Christmas tree, without a doubt.
Right.
Christmas tree or snowman. One of the two. A Frosty the Snowman or a Christmas tree. That's it. Those are the first two things that would come to my mind.
I would think family and cold weather.
Ugh. I don't want to think about those things. Not blech for both those, but the cold weather thing and the rest.
I don't want to think about your stupid family.
Dysfunctional families. Yes, let's bring that into the conversation. The way the true reason for the season. So yeah, that is what I am not surprised at all. That is what the non people who have not been steeped in the culture, who just get exposure to it secondhand or from Western culture that seeps into everything. Not surprising at all. That's what they think.
Yeah. And it was similar with the next question I asked, which is, why is Christmas important to foreigners? And the most popular answers I got were holidays, New Year, get to spend time with family, and because you don't have to work.
Perfect. They get Christmas.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah. The only thing they missed was getting presents, which hasn't happened to me since I was 17.
Yeah. Same with me. My mom asks me every year, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, I literally don't need anything. In fact, I've got some crap to send you that you can take off my hands.
Yeah. My family, we, as soon as the grandkids, of which I was in the first wave of them, when we all got older, hit the 18, it was like, okay, we're no longer giving gifts for adults, just do them for the new wave of other children that are coming down the pike. So yeah, idea. we have not been gift givers in my family since, like I said, since I've been an adult. I've not had to buy another adult a present in my family, which has been awesome.
And you've been an adult for a long time.
Tell me about it.
So the next question I asked was, who is Santa? And my very lovely friend Apple said, not sure, but he or she is kind and lovely. Yeah, all right. He got a big beard on. I mean,
sure, I guess. Sure, why not?
Who knows what's hiding under that beard? And my friend O, she said, when I had a kid, I discovered that Santa was us. Bad idea to introduce him to my son, LOL.
That's right. We didn't bother to tell them that you have to do that. Oh, by the way, kids, if you're listening, spoiler alert, there is no Santa.
He's not real.
Where's Dix? Yeah, that's funny that they had to figure that out on their own.
He once was real, but he's dead now.
He's Krampus.
Oh, God.
Introduce them to Krampus, a totally different thing. Interesting. Nice reaction. What I know that you also went in and talked to them about the whole concept behind Christmas trees and what that's all about. Which, of course, when it comes to good Christian holidays, nothing like a tree or pagan symbol. But regardless of that, what do the Thais think of Christmas trees?
I'd be hard pressed to find any foreigner that knows really the origin of the Christmas tree either, including myself. I think it's a pagan Saturnalia.
Yeah, it's the Yule log thing. Yeah.
Well, one of my friends said, quote, nice for kids, and for Thais, nice for selfies in front of Central World.
Oh, that's very Thai.
Can't argue with that.
No, definitely not.
Another friend said, trees are nothing to do with religion. They just look nice and make me happy. So
yeah, which is the way we typically work in America as well, in the Western world.
Yeah. Another friend said, something I look forward to for taking photos.
Mm-hmm.
A great way for family to get together and decorate it, which is pretty close to probably one of the most important things about having a tree.
Yeah,
and
I think
so. one of my more sarcastic friends said, it's a nice way for Thais to pretend it's cold, a good excuse to dress up in winter clothes.
Which they have. They've got jackets. They've got sweaters.
Yeah. Once it gets to below 25 degrees, you see people with gloves and huddling up, their arms crossed on the BTS, freezing to death.
Completely insane. But again, because the Christmas spirit, if you will, has imbued every single aspect of life. Yeah, I mean they're not going to get snow here. They literally cannot get snow in Thailand. It can't snow in this country anywhere.
Right. So why
So
not
this
pretend?
what. Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a make believe holiday anyhow. Let's go ahead and pretend.
I next asked, "Is Christmas just silly fun or a stupid, pointless holiday?"
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't asking me. You were asking your Thai friends. My apologies.
So my first friend said, "It can be both. Mostly an excuse to buy myself something." So that's the true spirit of Christmas, splurging on yourself.
Right, on yourself. Okay. All right. I like that.
Another friend said, "It's nice. Gives me hope that new, better things are coming around the corner," which is nice to hear.
Very optimistic.
Yeah. Another one said, "It's silly to pretend there is snow everywhere, but Thais are good at celebrating all types of holidays."
Yeah.
Basically just saying any excuse to party, you know.
Yeah, that's true. And Thais, if they are one thing, it's been very good at assimilating aspects of other cultures around them and making it uniquely their own. They do a great job of that. So sure, why not?
Very true. Very true. Another friend said, "It's fun to walk around, drink beer, and go shopping." My response to that was, "Well, you don't really need it to be Christmas for that, but whatever."
Right. Yeah, there's a 7-Eleven down the corner, man. So just go ahead.
And finally, a friend of mine responded, "It's kind of stupid that you have to spend shitloads of money on booze and food that make you fat and then you regret it afterwards."
Well, and your point? Don't criticize Western civilization that way.
I think my Thai friends are got it nailed on the head here. They know exactly what it's all about.
I don't think they're missing a beat.
Yeah. So my another interesting response was from my friend Anchani, who moved to Canada, and she wasn't quite sure what to make of it at first. And she said, "Some people give importance to Santa, others give importance to the church. I didn't understand the Jesus connection before, but now I do. But the holiday for me is still mostly about shopping and going to discounts at the department store."
Interesting. So a quick little, oh yeah, now I get the Jesus thing. Can we go back to shopping?
Yeah. And
That's pretty much how how we see Christmas back in the Western culture as well.
Jesus schmeezes, where's the deals? Also, that's the first mention of Jesus in all of these answers.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Ooh.
And except for my friend Tak. Now, she replied, "My grandpa was Catholic, so I learned all about it. He used to visit on Christmas Eve and sing Christmas carols, which made me think that every foreigner living in Thailand was Christian. And they celebrated
Right.
Christmas for Jesus, just like Thais celebrate Buddhist days. But I think Christmas is more lively and fun than Buddhist holidays. But these days, Christmas is more about shopping and marketing than religion." She's a very smart girl.
Yeah, she is. And yes, I have experienced many Buddhist holidays in my time here in Thailand. With the exception of Songkran, I think I will have to agree with her that that's obviously a fun holiday. But yeah, Christmas is a very lively holiday. It is festive. It is cheery. All of those various things. And
Yeah.
not so much on the Buddhist days where like, oh, I got an idea. Let's go walk around a temple 3 times.
And also, alcohol is banned across the entire country.
Right. That's the difference. Yeah. Where it's encouraged. Eggnog, which is nasty, but just drink anything because it's Christmas.
Whoa. You don't like eggnog?
I despise eggnog.
Dude, as soon as I see the first carton in Central World at Christmas time, I buy 3 of them. Oh, it's good stuff.
God, no. This is how you keep your girlish figure, too.
If I don't watch my figure, who will? I did have a bit of awakening though when I was about 16. I had my friend Mark, whose parents were very close to me and were very pious religious Catholics. And I went over to their place for Christmas dinner, and this was like my first real Christmas with them, with another family. And I was so surprised that I got to their house and they were sloshed. Everyone was wasted. And I'm like, whoa. Like, you're Christian Catholics here. Isn't this supposed to be a very sort of somber celebration? And they're like, yeah. So yeah, even when it's, people are observing the holiday in the most pious way, they still find time to party and get drunk.
Yeah, and especially Catholics. Catholics can drink like there's no tomorrow because they can just go repent and be all done with it. I got plenty of Catholics in my family, and they are the drunkest of all of the religious nutbags in my family, without a doubt.
Yeah. And now I know that, but at the time I was really shocked. I was like, what's going on here? I mean,
They're in the sacramental
I mean,
wine.
Christians can have fun. When I was forced to go to church, it was nothing but torture.
Yeah, church is not fun, but Christmas is fun.
They don't let you drink eggnog in church. That's why.
Ugh.
And finally, my friend Anna, she had a very succinct sum up of this, and she said, "I don't think Christmas is pointless or silly. It's especially important to religious Christians. They go to church, they celebrate at home, they do caroling at several houses. I have some Christian friends, and they like to try to persuade me and other people to go to church.
Of course they do.
I'm not Christian, but I think and feel that Christmas time is meaningful and colorful." Lovely way of putting it.
I think so as well. I'm not so sure there's much about the caroling that has to do with religion. I mean, you sing carols, but they're not proselytizing. Because that would be like the worst Christmas song ever. If like a bunch of Southern Baptists got up there and started singing a Christmas carol based on the way that they treat funerals, which is just a big recruitment time. This person up here's dead. You best come on up. And I'm not making fun of them because I want to make fun of them. It's because that's the big part of my family is there are all these crazy Southern Baptists and they love their funerals. Anyhow, back to Christmas. Yeah, Christmas carols tend to be nice. They're fun. They're all about, I mean, you sing "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" and stuff that nobody really pays attention to the lyrics. It's, the hymns are kind of nice. They're nice and sung. Don't pay attention to the lyrics. Just enjoy the time and you move on with yourself.
I love Christmas carols, and I gotta give another shout out to the people who plan the ambient music around Bangkok, because I'm walking around Central World. I'm walking over to Amarin Plaza on the Skywalk there, which has speakers lined up, and you can hear Christmas carols piped outside and into some of these Christmas display areas and things like that. And they're legit, really beautifully sung Christmas hit CDs kind of thing.
Well, I think all in all, Greg, your Thai friends have it really nailed down what it really means to celebrate Christmas in a Western tradition.
I think they do. And I wonder why that is, because I specifically didn't ask my Thai friends who spent a lot of time or were educated overseas. These are Thai friends who have spent most of their life in Thailand. So all of this information is purely just from what they've learned living in Thailand. Is it just Christmas's overwhelming spread around the world? Is it just like its cultural momentum? Or is it the friends that they make? I don't know. But even growing up in Thailand most of their lives, they seem to have a pretty good grasp on the basics of what it means.
They learned it from you. They learned it from watching you, Dad.
Parents who use Christmas have children who use Christmas.
And that explains the way that Christmas gets spread around the world. It's not from proselytizing. It's not from conquerors coming in saying, you're all going to be killed unless you believe in the way we believe. But it's like, nope, here's a discount. And Thais love their discounts.
Yeah. But
promotion.
But I think the bottom line is that, yeah, it's Christmas is understood and observed throughout Thailand, but mostly you'll see it in the shopping malls or the tourist-centric places. Outside of that, people will get it. Oh, it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas, blah, blah, blah. But beyond that, there's really nothing set up to celebrate it like you and I would be familiar with.
Certainly not. And if you wandered around and looked inside of houses, which would be hard to do here, you probably will not see a bunch of Christmas trees set up. You likely will not see Christmas lights decorating around houses. You certainly can, and you certainly will. But it's maybe the randomly placed wreath or something like that, more in acknowledgement that there's something happening, but they certainly do not go all out. At least in their own homes and personal lives. That's reserved for the shopping malls, because if there's one holiday that's all about shopping, 'tis the reason for the season.
I've heard rumors that somewhere someone saw a cross, a crucifix with Santa nailed up to it. I've never seen it myself, but man, do I want to see that.
Totally want to see that. The only thing I want to see more than that is this next segment of the show, Greg, everyone's favorite segment of the show, called Love, Loathe, or Leave, where you and I take a look at one minor aspect of living in Bangkok and find out if it's something the two of us love about living in Bangkok, loathe about the expat life, or if it's something that is so terrible and we hate so much it will eventually cause us to leave. This week, my friend, you have the honors.
Yes, I do. Now, I want to preface this with this might be a bit gross, but
Oh, good.
We got to get into
Just
it.
talked about Christmas. Why not?
We got to get into it. Now, what happens? What do you think about this when you go into a bathroom, into a stall, and you get settled to do your business,
Yes.
and then you look to your left or to your right, and there's a sign that says, "Please do not flush toilet paper down the toilet. Use the trash bin." You look to your left, and there's the trash bin overflowing with crumpled up toilet paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the thing you need to remember for those of you that do not live here in Thailand, we do have the bum gun almost everywhere, ubiquitous. So we do a good hosing down of our nether regions, which removes the majority of stuff. Let's just simply say it. That,
Keyword
right? So,
majority.
but still, you are keyword majority, and then also understanding that now your ass is drenched. You have to do something about that, right? So yes. So and now you take the remaining toilet paper, which is always thin and occasionally 1/4 ply, and you take care of your final business with that. And now you're saying, what do you do? Because the sign says, do not throw the toilet paper in the toilet itself, and instead put it in the trash can. So here's what I do. I flush that
in more ways than one. Yeah. Well, I can think of a couple of places that I'm at a lot that don't have bum guns. They just have the toilet paper and they have that sign.
No.
It's gross, man.
That is sick. I'm with you. So here's the deal. I want to do this on a show, but I don't have the ability to do the research, which just means I'm lazy. So here's the deal, Greg. I secretly think that this whole don't flush toilet paper because our pipes are old, I think it's a scam. I think it's not a scam. I think it's an urban myth. I don't think there's a reason not to flush toilet paper. I'm willing to be wrong about this, but I have a funny feeling that in light of not having any evidence to the contrary, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's fine. Flush your toilet paper. Don't flush an entire roll of toilet paper, obviously. But as you say, material is going to back up the pipe. It doesn't have to be toilet paper. I think it's an urban myth. I totally do.
I do. And I loathe it when I see this sign because it's just like, oh God, what am I sitting next to here? Just this big bin of crap. Literally, it's a big bin of paper crap.
Right.
And it's so gross.
Especially if they did have a bum gun. What horrible place is this you frequent? I don't want to know. Just let me know when we're nearby. You can just say don't go in there.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to put a sign up at this place. Like, if you bring in the bum gun, I'll throw it in the trash cache or the trash can. Right. Until then, though, it's going in the toilet.
Yeah, I'm with you. Loathe that sign and also ignore that sign pretty much always. Pretty much always.
I would say so too.
Well, hey, listen, Greg, before we take off out of here, one quick thing to mention that I know you know and our listeners need to know about. Holy crap, you can now listen to... Holy crap, I missed a segue. You can now listen to the Bangkok podcast inside of Spotify.
I heard of these guys.
Is cool. Spotify, 100 million active users out there in Spotify. And just a few days ago, at the time of listening to this, our entire library of shows has now been listed and is available in the Spotify app. So if you are listening on our website, great. If you're listening through Line, awesome. If you're listening through Facebook, cool. If you're listening through some application on your mobile phone that you hate, Apple, you're pissing me off these days. Listen, if you're a Spotify user and that's how you get most of your audio content, I get it. There's a lot of you out there. Now you can just search and find us. We'll have a link in the show notes, and probably by the time this goes live, Greg will have made a link on the website so that you can actually just click it, like as you can for Apple Podcasts, as you can for Android, because I think it actually might be the best way to listen if you're on Android, because that's a clunky world. But chances are you have Spotify, so we'll make links available. So if that's what you want to listen to our show on, awesome. You can follow, you get notifications, all that stuff. Just let us know how it's working.
I like how you work in the tasks for me to do into the thing, so I can't say no. Yeah, Greg will make this button, and I'm like, oh, that's one more thing for me to do. Thank you, Evo, for putting that on. That was entirely your doing, so that's really, really cool, because I know a lot of people that swear by Spotify. I don't use it myself. I'm an Apple guy.
Yep.
But I know a lot of people who say it is the best way to listen to music and podcasts out there. So that's great. Win-win.
And also thanks once again to those of you who support us on Patreon. If you would like to get episodes like this early and get access to special Patreon only bonus content like the one we just recorded today about my trip to Chiang Mai last weekend, you can head to Bangkok. No, don't go there. Head to patreon.com/Bangkok podcast and lend us your support. We really appreciate it.
And thanks to you for listening to the Bangkok podcast. If you have something on your mind or you just want to drop us a line to say hello, please leave a comment on bangkokpodcast.com, or you can reach out directly to me on Twitter, where I am BKK Greg.
You can also send us a message on the Facebooks, the Lines, the Twitters, everywhere. We're Bangkok Podcast. We're great at responding to your comments, answering your questions, and, hearting and thumbs upping when you say very nice things about us, wherever you say those nice things about us. For Greg Jorgensen, I am Evo Terra. We'll be back next week with more stories of our lives lived in the City of Angels right here on the Bangkok Podcast. Chok di krap.
Oh, did we ever hear back from anyone about the tag at the end of the show?
No one said a damn thing, so I don't think they know, which is kind of awesome. That's kind of cool that they don't know that it really exists there.
Look, we've got our very own unknown Easter eggs.